So here you're starting to clean up where there's just basically tall grass. It's making quite a difference already, as you can tell. I'm gonna go help clear in front of where he is. So here is the same piece of land that I just filmed before, and this is 2 days later after he's cleared all the land here. I'm trying to copy the same movement of the camera, although it's a little bit difficult. Just using the trees basically as a generic reference point. And there we go. I mean, you can see I'm going a bit further around. It's a very different look to what we had a couple of days ago. You know, this young guy is really good. He's going backwards into the really difficult spots to clear around the tree, the old trees with a lot of brambles around it. Really good. And this on video doesn't really come out, but this is all bamboo territory. It's where the Viet Cong would wait for me. And this all needs taking out as well. So you can see it all needs work. I mean, this is all up there in the middle between those two trees. It's all taller than I am, so that's over 6 foot. This right here in front of me is taller than I am. It's over 6 foot. The tall bits are taller than I am. And over here, all quite about my height, about 6 foot. All this stuff in the middle you see there. So all of this is at least 6 foot. And down here, it's not tall, but this is all brambles. So you can't really walk there. And with the trincha, I don't know what that's called in English, you can just reverse your tractor into it and destroy the whole thing, which is a beautiful sight. And here, going back up towards the house, all these little bamboo shoots you see, they're about my height. And as you can tell, you know, this little bush you see here, that's just a ball of brambles that serves no purpose other than to spite you whenever you go near it. And here's the little apple tree, olive trees, another fruit tree there. Oh, and I remembered the name of the berries that grow on this big tree here. They're called rowan berries. There's an olive tree in front of it here. That's a rowan berry tree. And there's another one near the house as well. So all of this, later today or tomorrow, depending on how far he gets, will all be cleaned up. Completely different picture. Here's a little flower I picked, and now we've come to the bamboo forest, which is a problem for the tractor as well, going downhill, so he has to do it uphill, which is going to be a bit of an issue, but we'll see how far we get. This is the tent I thought was stolen, the kid's tent, and it just blew down with the wind all the way to the bottom of the field, right up to the forest. I'm gonna drag it back up, although it's done now. Well, I'm just climbing uphill with this tent and the tractor behind me to show him the way. So loads of fun. And as you can see, the bamboo is taller than I am. Must look an interesting sight. A man wading in a sea of bamboo with a tent on his head. I wish you could see the whole picture. And this is to give you an idea. The guy's like 5 meters from me and you can't even see the tractor. That's brambles right there on top. You can barely see the roll bar on his tractor. So it's over 6 foot tall brambles in there, and he's just backing up a bit. Take another run at it from he's going to go around and then probably reverse into it. So, you know, That's what I mean about brambles. But here we've got another little apple tree which has got a lot of green little apples on it. It's weird how some trees like get ready at different times, because this should be done now, but it's not. Anyway, he's having another run at it, I think. Brave lad. Just wants to wade through it, I think. Or maybe he's reversing a bit there and clearing up behind. Even if I lift my phone up, you can't really see where he is. Barely can see pieces of the volba. So I've still got my tent here, but he is in a straight line just there, behind this bamboo and brambles. Just not even 5 meters from me, and you can't see him. There, you might see him now, starting to come through. Yeah, slowly he's reversing into it. Now you can sort of start to see the tractor a bit. But that's how much brambles you got. Now if we could have that stuff just on the edge of my property, it would form a great fence. And he's almost through. So he's going up and down with the trincha. Do it one bit at a time. And also what could be dangerous there is there could be like, you know, large bits of wood that have just been left. I mean, here is a stack of firewood that I was left for like a few years, and it's at the bottom of the field, so it's a bit of a pain to come and get, but something I'll have to do at some point. But you can see how overgrown it is. I mean, there's probably like a few 100 kilos of wood right there, but you can only see this big 3 or 4 trunks. It doesn't show very well on video when you've got a bit of vegetation. And he's working his way through this patch, reversing into it. You can sort of see like the jaws of death when he brings them down on it, and then he has to go a bit forward again, a bit backwards, so it's quite a thick little process here. Anyway, I'll show you more when we go up there, when we get past this. This is to give you an idea of the before, and you know, if you go closer, you see you can't even walk in there, and what it'll look like afterwards. He's already cleared a whole bunch of stuff here. See, and this is what happens if you don't clear this stuff. This is all brambles and this is a vine, and they basically killed the little tree that was there. You can't even really see the original tree. To go really close just so you can spot 1 or 2 branches through all the creepers. That's it. This main trunk there is the original tree, and you see it's completely grown over by brambles and stuff, and they've killed it. You know, they suck all the energy out of it. Not in a good way. I'll take you back to the tree I showed you earlier. That was the before, and this is the after. So it's now just a little island that needs cleaning on the edges, but you can actually get to it now. And that's the amazing power of the tractor. And there's one, there's another. So he's creating all these little islands of trees which are much easier to clean. And all this was, you know, stuff you could hardly walk in. And it's only been a couple of hours working. So I'm really happy with him, really cool guy, and he knows what he's doing as well. So excellent. I'll just give you a little panoramic shot of, you know, what was basically overgrown sort of jungle, and now it's little islands of olive trees. And you can see that area there still hasn't been cleared, but all the way up here he's cleared everything out. I've only been going about 3.5 hours or so, if that, maybe 3 hours. And look what a difference it makes. And of course this means And hopefully I'll have a much better olive crop this year, because even though I didn't manage to prune the trees have still produced quite a lot of olives. This is one of the little trees, and this is one of the worst ones. Another thing I still don't understand is, so this olives here are black, most of the other olives are green, but even this tree here, which look, you know, clearly it was being suffocated by brambles and all sorts, and I don't know how much you can see. It's very difficult to see it on camera, but there's quite a lot of olives on there. And these ones are, again, a little bit black and a little bit green. Most of the other trees have got green ones, but even this old tree, which is not supposed to really have much olives and completely overgrown, has done really quite well this year. So you got some on there, you got on the new shoot there, that little section is all filled. You know, you've got some here. I'm going to try and go up close so you can get a sense of it. But you know, there are quite a lot of olives even on this really quite ancient and half dead olive tree. And the trees that are in good condition, they've got a lot of stuff. Also, there's my border with my neighbor, and you can see my neighbor, who's now been dead almost a year. You know, look how clean his side is. You know, a tractor did go over here, but it was just like not even an afternoon's work to keep this clean. While on my side, it's been overgrown for, you know, 4 years basically. So I'll need to clear under each tree and everything, but once that's done, it's gonna be quite a lot better. So we started at like 9 this morning. It's now almost 3 in the afternoon, and he's cleared a lot of stuff. You can actually see my little vineyard here now, because you can see that there's actually a row of, well, still mostly brambles, but this is one line of the grapes, and a bit further down there's another line of a different kind of grape. Oops, there you go. That's it there. And of course he's cleared. You can sort of see him at the bottom there, maybe. It's really odd. What you can see on the video is a lot less than what you can see with your eyes, of course, as always. But anyway, going down here, look at that. This now doesn't look like just overgrown grass. It's been cleared all the field. And if you remember a little while ago, I said I was going to take a same panoramic view from the same spot. I'm heading towards there. And now finally, pretty much everything on the right side of the vineyard has been cleared. You know, he's left like little islands around the trees, of course, which is good, as it should be. And you know, he's a good guy, because he's not wasting time on like silly things, like say in between these two trees just a little strip of grass there, but he's just doing the important big bits. And you know, there's a good couple of hectares and then some here, so he's gone right up to some of the trees as well. I know this doesn't look like right up to the tree, but that's about as close as you can get without damaging the tractor here. And look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. So Tony, I think you were just lazy. I mean, this guy's only worked for half an hour, and you know, he's cleared the whole thing. I don't know what was wrong with you, mate. And here it is, coming on 4 o'clock. And look at the panorama. You can actually see through the trees and stuff now, because there's not just grass all over the place.
No, but
And
this man touches grass.
okay, boy, a little dude's commenting as well. But yeah, so he's cleared, I'd say, the better part of about almost 3 hectares in a day and a half. We started a bit late today, and yeah, pretty good. And this is the top of the property. This area here, where you see these 2 beams and blocks, that's where the bee guy comes to put his bees, usually around May. And now this whole area here that you see all nice and cleaned up, this was basically impassable because you got the brambles that you see here. You know, that's this line of brambles basically went all across to over there, and towards the bottom there, where you see that little bit of bamboo, also down there, it was just all impassable, really. This is what I call the left side of the property from the top, and I'll take you across and show you a little bit on the other side as well. But yeah, this whole area here is, you know, much more accessible now. It was all a bit like over there, and you can't walk there now. That's just a row of brambles and so on. I'm going to take you a little bit closer just so that you can see it. Forgive the camera movement. But yeah, so this is what it looks like up close. You know, and over there it's just basically a, I suppose it could be a rabbit warren. But you know, you can't walk through that, even with boots on or whatever, because the brambles are about waist high there, at least, if not neck high. And you can't tell because it just looks like, oh, you've got a little tree and a bit of brambles at the bottom. But you know, between here and where the bottom of that tree is, it's at least a couple of meters. So that's what I mean. It was all like this, and he's cleared up the property really well. I'll take you through to the other side so you can get a sense of that. And this is the property line. Just thought I'd give you a bit of a close-up of the olives that are growing on the trees here now. And you know, it really is quite a good crop this year. On our farm we don't use any kind of insecticide or anything like that, so everything that you see plant wise is completely like natural. We don't do anything to dissuade insects or anything like that from coming here, and it's working out really quite well. You can see that, you know, it really is quite hard to give you a sense of just how many olives there are on each little branch, because you just see, like, you know, 3, 4, 5 here, but in reality on the leaf above there's another 4, 5, 6, so it really is quite full. And that's a driveway, and across you see the rest of the top part of the property, and then moving down we'll get to the house, and then all the land below it, which is a lot more, of course. But yeah, so he's definitely cleared everything, made it really easy to see. This is a good little spot to show you the difference between where the tractor has been and cleared everything up, and just a little patch that it didn't do, which is here. Now I'm going to take a shot of this from the bottom as well, but where you see that bamboo there, that's well over my height. You know, I'm 6'2", and all that patch of bamboo was all over here. And this, what looks like little grass, that's at least waist height. This bamboo here is about my height, 6'2", something like that, 6 foot, something like that. And then I'll show you from the bottom, you know, what it looks like trying to walk through that stuff. And here you see a tree that is still kind of how it was. You know, this little patch it didn't finish. It's just a tiny little area. But trying to get access to that, you know, you're gonna need a trimmer to go all around it, and then you slowly gotta chop your way into the brambles and so on. While the areas that he's cleared, you know, completely different situation. Like this is one of the cleaner trees. You know, these trees here are basically clean. You can just, you know, 2 minutes with a trimmer and you'll just kill off that little grass, and then you can put your nets down to collect the olives. And even here, if we go to, this is one of the worst ones that's been left as a little island. But you know, even here you can go right up to it, and it's got, you know, big brambles. I mean, these sticks are about at least my thickness of my thumb or a bit more. But you know, you can go in, cut them and pick them off, and that's that. And you know, over here was almost impassable. It was all sort of bamboo-ish type stuff, and I'll show you what that looks like from the bottom. You know, this area at the bottom he didn't really finish because there isn't really any like olive trees here. There's one over there. So there's a couple of big non-fruit trees over here. I think that's an oak, if I'm not wrong. There's one olive tree there. You know, another, I think that's an oak from this distance. I don't know. You can tell I know everything about plants. But so this area here didn't really have any olive trees, so he's, you know, he did a really an outstanding job. But he left this little patch, and it's good because I can show you, you know, what it looks like. If I just go back far enough that you can see the cleared area, and let me just adjust the camera, and then you can see what I mean in terms of size of the bamboo. So, you know, this is not even the worst patch, because there was whole fields of it where it was all this height. You know, and like I said, I'm 6'2". Like this is actually what I would consider waist height, with an occasional one going up. There was a whole bunch of it that was all that height, and I couldn't see in front of my face. He's cleared all of that, so that's really very, very useful. And you know, opposite this last little patch of bamboo is basically the forest, which is still part of our property. And the guys cleared all the way into the forest, pretty much, at least the access to the little river or brook. Really doesn't run all the time, but when it rains it flows. And I think from here we can get to the river. Yeah, it's one of the few places that's passable to get in the forest. I mean, this is all brambles, so you wouldn't be able to get in there. But over here we go straight into Tolkien land, and here is the little brook or river, or whatever you want to call it. And you can see there is quite a few large trees that have fallen over, and they make bridges. So just to give you a sense of things, the space there is about 2 meters, about 1.5 meters above water, and then there's about 1/2 meter underwater. And this is just one of, probably won't come out very great on video, but over there's a second and then a third bridge made of logs. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer, give you a sense of things. And you know, these trees are pretty huge. That over there is the tree continues up here, and that's the sort of continuation of it, goes all the way up there. So that's not even a dead tree, that just sort of fallen down tree that then leans over here, carries on, and you know, it's a live tree. Up there it's got new leaves and stuff. while some of them are dead. The one that's in the foreground here is a dead tree that ends there. This one here, that's right next to it, is covered in edera, I suppose things that make liana. You know, Tarzan can swing here sort of thing. And this is another dead one which pretty much ends up here. So anyway, this is the forest, and still all our property on the other side of the river as well. It goes in quite a little bit, pretty much towards the cliff face, which is where it ends. And I'm now gonna make my way back up. But yeah, you know, although the forest is quite thick and dense, there are pathways in it. This is along the little brook, but you know, over here you can see there is a way through. Some of it's a bit overgrown and that, but there are definitely pathways that let you get deeper into the forest, because once you're under the canopy, you're actually the undergrowth is not that much. And there's another dead tree over there. And you know, there's truffles here, which of course I have to deal with the truffle thieves. Oh, one of them I caught him yesterday, and gonna have to go to the Forest Services police station type guys to make a case against him. And I will keep doing that to them every time I catch them, because they're quite vicious, the truffle thieves around here. And I'm gonna make it known that any one of them that gets caught around here is not gonna have a smooth ride of it. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm going back up to the house now.